partnerships, we rarely do that, but sometimes when there's two sole traders who are joining forces and coming together, we might do a partnership. So what I'll do is I'll pass it back to Ross right now. Oh, wait, actually, no, sorry. So Lawpath also has a quiz. So you can pump in your questions or you pump in your answers into this quiz, and that quiz will then tell you what the preferred structure seems to be. It's obviously not legal advice because it's just a technology, but it tries to give you some guidance on which structure is going to be best for you. Now, the final things that I was just going to talk about is that if you do have a company, then you need to make sure, and if you have more than one shareholder, you really need to make sure you have a shareholders agreement. And a shareholders agreement essentially deals with how the shareholders are going to deal with one another. So for instance, the company is not allowed to issue any new shares without first offering it to the existing shareholders. An existing shareholder is not allowed to sell their shares to a third party without first offering their shares to the existing shareholders, and also dispute resolution. The Corporations Act is a federal law, and generally speaking, only the Supreme Court in your state deals with the Corporations Act, which means that if you ever got in a dispute with another shareholder, the only way normally to resolve it is to go to the Supreme Court. And when I mention the Supreme Court, it means possibly $25,000 minimum because you've got to pay the filing fee, which is around $3,000 for companies and about $1,800 generally for individuals. You then have to pay for a solicitor and normally a barrister as well. So it's a very costly exercise. Whereas a shareholders agreement has a dispute resolution clause, and it says before anyone goes to court, you have to appoint a mediator, a third party. You've got to go to the mediator's office or a hired room, and you got to sit in there for about 8 hours trying to nut out a deal. And most of the times you can get a resolution by going to mediation. So that's why a shareholders agreement is really important, because without that, there is no mediation clause, and the only way to resolve it is going to court. We talked about trademarks briefly, but just by having a company incorporated or just by having a business name, it doesn't protect your brand. It doesn't protect your logo. You need to get a trademark if you want to stop other people from using that exact brand or logo or slogan or whatever it is in your industry. And if you want to learn more about intellectual property like trademarks and patents and designs and copyright, we have webinars on those topics on our YouTube channel. And we also have videos on copyright and trademarks and things like that that you can have a look at. In terms of employees and contractors, anything that an employee creates for your business while working in your business is owned by you. Whereas a contractor, anything that they do is owned by them. So if you have hired someone to create a logo for you and it was a contractor, then you don't actually own that logo. The only way for you to own that logo is to have a contract in place that transfers the ownership of that logo to you. And if you forgot to, and if you've already hired that logo designer and you forgot to get them to have that contract, you can do what's called an IP assignment deed. That's a backwards looking document that basically says, okay, look, I know you built that logo for me. I'm sorry that I forgot to get this contract signed, but can you sign this and confirm that that logo is now owned by me? But that's a really clear distinction between employees and contractors when it comes to copyright or copyright ownership. And that's about it from that perspective. Now, when we look at licenses, if you are hiring an employee or a contractor and you're going to put them into another person's business, you are doing labor hire services. And in Queensland, ACT, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, they all have labor hire licensing laws. And most people that are providing IT consultancy are getting caught up by not having a labor hire license. So if you want to know whether you need a license, whether you're a builder, liquor license, food handling license, NDIS, things like that, you can go to this website in this slide, and that will tell you what registrations or licenses that you might require. Insurances, public liability is your slip and fall. So if you're a personal trainer and you're hosting a session in the local park, then in those circumstances, you have control of your environment. You need public liability insurance in the event that someone slips and falls and hurts themselves. If you have an office and someone comes and falls and trips, you need public liability insurance to make sure that if they get injured, you're covered. Professional indemnity insurance covers your services. So if you're providing a service and you're negligent, professional indemnity insurance comes in. If you're selling a product, you might have imported something from China and yet now you're the distributor here, you should have product liability insurance. Also, because you probably won't be able to sue or find the manufacturer in China that you bought the products off of. So product liability insurance is quite important. If you have any employees, this is the only one that you must have. You must have workers' compensation insurance, and that's in the event that someone gets injured at work, whether it's mental injury or physical injury. Cyber security insurance, it's hard to get, but if you're doing government contracts, it's often something that they want. There are different insurances for director and officer insurance, where you're a director of the company, you get hauled into the court for something that you've done. Director and officer insurance might cover you, but has a lot of carve-outs. It's fairly expensive, so have a look at that. I've already touched upon shareholders agreements, but we just kind of reiterate the fact that it's really important. And if you don't know anything about it, watch our YouTube video on shareholders agreements and what they are and why to have one. They're an absolute essential document if you're going to have more than one shareholder. Your director duties as a director, you got to act in good faith. You got to use care and diligence in your skills. You can't be insolvent trading. You got to use the documents and information that you gain as a director for the benefit of the company. You can't use it for the benefit of someone else. And you got to prevent conflicts of interest. Those are the main director duties. So you can't be a director of, let's say, this law firm, and then be a director of another law firm and take clients from this law firm and send them over to another law firm, because that would be a breach of your director's duties, because you're using information of the company A and you're benefiting company B. And you're also breaching confidential information, copyright, things like that as well. And you have a conflict of interest. Now, you can overcome most of these director duties by disclosure, by telling people that this is what you're doing, telling your shareholders this is what you're doing, telling your directors this is what you're doing. So that's it for now. Start popping your Q&A into the Q&A box, and then we're going to jump over to Ross. Ross is going to show you quickly how Lawpath works and tell you a little bit more about Lawpath, and then we'll jump back into the presentation and answer your questions.
Thank you for that presentation, Damon. As Damon mentioned, I'm going to be diving into the Lawpath platform. So for those of you who are new to Lawpath, the Lawpath platform is where you're going to manage all of your business, legal, and compliance needs. If you just bear with me for 1 second, I'm just going to share my screen. So this is the Lawpath platform. Within here, as I mentioned, you will manage all your legal and compliance needs. So you can create, sign, and manage all your legal contracts. You can book your legal and accounting consultations, and you can perform registrations, which is actually what we're going to focus on today. So to perform a registration, you just come to the registrations tab, click new registration, and you'll see the list of registrations available to you through Lawpath. So as you can see, you can register a ACN, an ABN, register a business name. You can even import your current business to create your dashboard and manage your business from here if you didn't already create your company on Lawpath. You also have the option to register a virtual office, which we will touch on in just a second. You can also register a trademark in here to safeguard your intellectual property. And you can also manage all of your asset compliance and asset changes and renew your company within the dashboard as well. So for today's webinar purpose, we're going to just focus on starting a company. So for anyone that is decided that they are going to be starting a company and they would like to use Lawpath to do so, it's a very simple process. You just select learn more, and this will bring you to an overview of the different compliance packages that we have available. So as you can see, it outlines the different pricing options, which is mainly made up of the $576 government fee. The basic compliance package here gets you your ACN, your company certificate, and your 13 company documents drafted for your company. Now, the key difference between the basic compliance and the standard compliance is that if you are going to be performing any business activity under your new company, then you will need an ABN. So the standard compliance comes with multiple tax registrations, including your ABN, GST, PAYG, and TFN. Finally, then we have the full compliance package. So full compliance, the only difference here is that this also comes with a 1-year business name. Now, as Damon mentioned in the presentation, if you are going to be trading under a name that's different to your company registered name, so perhaps you want to register a business and drop the PTY Ltd part of the name for trading purposes, you will need to register a 1-year business name as well. And this can be done through our compliance packages. So to get started, you're just going to want to check the availability of your name. And click Get Started. And then you can have your company registered online in under 10 minutes. So the first page is just going to be a little overview of the steps that you're about to undertake. So including filling in your personal names, your company documents, and then right down to accessing your virtual office if needed. So the first step is, would you like Lawpath to draft your company corporate documents? Now, as mentioned, these are legally required. So if you decide not to have Lawpath create your documents for you, you will have to draft them yourself. But best practice is to have Lawpath draft your company corporate documents for you. As mentioned earlier, if you are going to be trading under your new company name, you will require a company ABN. So Lawpath can also help you with your tax compliance. And again, as mentioned, with regards to the business name, if you would like to trade under a name that does not include your PTY Ltd, you would need to register a business name as well. Now, once all that is complete, you do get 1 year of free business compliance from Lawpath. So what does that mean? That will mean that we'll become your ASIC agent. We will lodge your annual reporting documents with ASIC. We will provide you with automated reminders and notifications about upcoming compliance deadlines and any regulatory changes from within our platform. And we will handle all correspondence with ASIC on your behalf, ensuring your compliance and no late fees. Next up is the virtual office. So for anyone that's registering a company, you need to register an office address. For anyone that doesn't have an office address and does not want to list their personal address on a publicly listed ASIC register, you can use our office address based here in Surrey Hills. We will then manage all of your company mail and upload to your Lawpath account, and you'll be notified whenever you receive an email. This is an excellent offer for anyone that is looking to increase that level of privacy for their business. And then finally, you get access to our Essentials expert support. So with this, you can have a Lawpath expert guide you through your company setup to help navigate any complexities that you may have and answer questions around the compliance. We'll help you complete applications and add directors and shareholders, and you will have access to our Essentials plan where you'll be able to access our legal workflows, our legal and business documents, and use our e-signature feature for efficient corporate document signing. You also have the option to get any business queries answered anytime with year-round online and phone support. Next page just takes us to some of our partner offers. So here you can see we've got some great offers with businesses such as Xero for your accounting software, the BizCover for insurance consultations, and many more. We do have more offers that you can browse down here in our partner offers. And if you do not choose to claim now, don't worry, you can always claim these at a later date. So once you get to this step, you'll be taken to the checkout page. And once you finalize your checkout, you'll then have to complete your application form. As mentioned, you can have a Lawpath expert guide you through that application form. You'll provide your company and tax details, including your director, shareholder, and ABN information. And once complete, we lodge your application with the Australian government. And that is that. It's as simple as that. It takes a tedious process and makes it a whole lot easier for you guys that are considering registering a company. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to head back into the presentation. And we're going to take you through a little bit more about how Lawpath could help you and your business. So as mentioned, to summarize, in addition to being able to register your company, Lawpath also has access to unlimited legal documentation. We have access to workflows. These are 9 popular topics related to your business. These include things such as setting up an NDA, hiring an employee, dismissing an employee, and these are step-by-step guides to help you do it efficiently and making sure you are compliant. And then we also have the ability to book in legal consultations with our panel of senior lawyers through the platform. Now, if anyone would like to discuss these further, then just type yes into the chat box and a member of our team will be in contact with you shortly. As you can see now on the screen, our different pricing plans, these are all 100% tax deductible. These start off with our Starter Essentials plan, including all of your documents, over 480 legal document templates, your workflows, and your e-signature feature. Also, as Damon mentioned, we have Lawpath AI, which is included in the Essentials package. This could be used to help draft custom clauses or to simplify any legal jargon to make it easier for you guys to understand. Down the middle, then, we have our most popular legal advice plan. Now, that gives you everything in the Essentials, plus the ability to book unlimited 30-minute legal consultations with lawyers. Now, we cover a wide range of advice topics, including company law and business structuring, intellectual property, trademarking, startup law, ESOP, and a whole lot more, including HR and employment. In addition, you can also book unlimited on-call contract reviews. This means that when you're creating your documents on Lawpath, you can get that extra level of security by having it reviewed by one of our senior lawyers. You can also get all of your current documents reviewed on the call or any ones that you're receiving into the business. And finally, then, we have our most comprehensive package. Now, this is our legal and accounting advice plan. This gives you everything included in the legal advice, plus the ability to book unlimited accounting and tax advice consultations with our senior accountants. This is fantastic for anybody that's looking to start a business. Perhaps you're registering a company and you want to get some advice around paying yourself as a director, or perhaps you want to learn about how to manage your books a little bit better. And also, as taxes around the corner in the next couple of months, you might want to get some tax advice around tax minimization, tax concessions, and tax deductibles. To go one step further, then, we can also add on our tax compliance package. Now, this is a done-for-you accounting offering where we will lodge your BAS returns, your end of financial year statement, and your tax return. And we will even give you an in-depth consultation to review your year's spending so that you can plan for the year ahead. Again, if anyone has any questions around these packages, just type yes into the chat box and a member of our team will contact you to discuss further. Now, we also have a fantastic offer for anyone that is attending today's webinar. We do have access to 20% to 25% off unlimited legal advice plan. So that's our most popular advice plan. You can get 25% off today only and begin booking in unlimited legal consultations as soon as tomorrow.